At the turn of the millennium, cultural anxiety dramatically shifted towards the burgeoning awareness of the environment's fragility, as well as the crystallization of the climate change debate and the rise of radical environmentalism. Japan was a leading figure in the climate debates, and hosted the conference where the Kyoto Protocol was adopted in 1997, essentially the precursor to the Paris Agreement, which showcased the transition away from scientific theory to tangible fear. Game Freak decided to represent this fear in Ruby and Sapphire through Team Magma and Aqua, which would be the first of many of Pokemon's ideological terrorists. They represent the trope of well-intentioned extremists, where the narrative acknowledges the validity of their grievance, climate change, whilst condemning their method of terrorism. The game parallels them to the Earth Liberation Front, an early 2000s eco-terrorist group that set fire to multiple lumber companies across the northwestern United States. However, these two teams are fascinating, as it's the only time Pokemon has used a duology of evil teams in their releases, and the contrasts between highlight their opposing philosophies. Team Aqua subscribes to a philosophy where the world must be returned to its primordial oceanic state. In the real world, this belief is known as deep ecology, which prioritizes the biosphere over civilization, where they believe human expansion has strangled the planet's cradle of life, the sea, and that a reset is necessary for the good of all living creatures. Conversely, Team Magma seeks to expand the continents to fuel human progress and industrialization. This is known as an accelerationist view, where the development of a civilization is paramount to the goals of existence, and nature must be shaped to accommodate them. Both sides are entirely convinced of their own moral superiority, and see us as a short-sighted obstructionist that lacks the vision to save the planet. The horror of Gen 3 lies in the moment that each villain wins and the catastrophic regret they're overcome with, as both leaders believe they can engineer the climate with the blue and red orbs, reflecting the early 2000s anxiety regarding geoengineering and humanity's hubris in believing the Earth is theirs to conquer. But when the skies begin to fracture above Sutopolis, the villains realize that the legendary Pokemon, and by extension nature, cannot be tamed as they watch the world they try to save fall apart. Ruby and Sapphire serve as potent metaphors for what's known as the tipping point in climate science, the fear that humanity is triggering biological events we can't reverse. The orbs represent the hypothesized climate technology we could use to avert our fate and the inevitability of their failure, which is feeding to the existential dread that this world doesn't care about our ideologies. Whether you fight for humanity or nature, the planet's response to meddling is simply destruction.